wow, am I fired up after that. Oh my God, it has been the most incredible, absolutely incredible experience being in town with all these incredible people, all the warriors that are holding the line in Wellington, New Zealand. I am so proud of every single one. And honestly, I have been in tears with you. I have gone through so much with you in there. And yeah, I've been in there for the last 5 days and I've had to come back tonight. But oh my God, the unity it's spellbounded. Everybody, anywhere you stood, we are all hugging. We are all coming together and are just, the energy is, look, I can't even get my words up. I'm so wound. But honestly, we have people all around New Zealand. They're donating food, they're donating, giving money, they're giving themselves the energy of cooking the food. Everyone is coming together, and honestly, you guys rock, every single one of you. We are rocking it in there. And honestly, the other day when our beautiful people on the front line were getting arrested at this peaceful protest, the tears, the heartfelt cries, that was most horrendous experience for those beautiful front line. And we had a lot of women. And Alexander is a 17-year-old boy. And oh my gosh, he was plucked out. So all the people, they all were in the human chain. And you had the singers just helping them, giving them the comfort because they were terrified. They were singing. And honestly, that 17-year-old was plucked out. He got rammed with his head into the ground. And the officer, he made sure he had that same force because he came on my path today. And I locked eyes with that young guy and I went up and I hugged him and I thanked him from everyone in New Zealand because he was peaceful. He was beautiful, but the absolute horror he had to endure from a police officer. The under oath shall not hurt, but he did. And he literally had that young man with his head in the ground and massive force. So when I interviewed Alexander, I asked him what it was like. So I'm going to put a clip of Alexander's experience, what he went through. And honestly, he's still humble. He was there again. He was outside with his family and they are such humble individuals. He said, I'm doing it for the next generation and my children as well. And he said, we have to stand up. We literally have to stand up. And he also told me that many men around the country saw that video clip of him. And they have told him they got up out of their seats and came all the way down to be on the front line because a 17-year-old shouldn't be having to do it. So these men have come in and they are now helping, and this is just heartfelt. Hi mate, you are the star. And what's your name again?
Alexander.
Alexander, you are such a hero in everybody's eyes with what you experienced. Tell us what it was like when that officer was head in the ground. What were you going through?
I was going through the whole process of how the police were going to treat me. So I thought about my rights, of how I can proceed with this. So I thought of keeping my mouth shut and asking for a lawyer without delay. So I invoked my right to silence and a lawyer without delay. And I was put in the back of the paddy wagon and and so on. I was taken for 5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was released because they threatened me with oranga tamariki to take me away.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And I gave my details out fair.
Yeah.
And they took me back 5 hours later at 8 o'clock. They took me from 3 o'clock. Yeah.
That, you know, for what you've done at your age for New Zealand, you stood your ground and you did it for everybody. And what, you know, just the emotion of just watching what you went through, you know, all our hearts were just pumping, just watching what you had to experience. And how old are you?
17.
17. We're so proud of you, buddy. So proud. Because honestly, to go through that at your age, you know, I've spoken to so many of the ones on the front line and they're traumatized to the max. And look what you're still here, you're coming back and holding the line again. So, oh my God, New Zealand thanks you. Yeah. Because you are our future. Yeah. Okay? You're holding the front line.
I can't let it get me down, because if I do nothing, they're just going to keep doing it again and again and again. And it's happened so many times. I'm so not used to people sticking up for me, because it's happened. Taught me from just this incident. It's so real for me.
And the love, love. That's the beautiful.
I've gotten so much hugs.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So much people.
It's a peaceful protest. It's not a violent. They were violent to you.
Yeah.
And what was that? The one in America where
George Floyd.
Thank you. You were actually on there.
Yes.
From comparison, and here we go. To the people, this is going around the world.
I have been saying, come together, stand as one, and stand up for your rights or you'll have none.
That's fantastic. And I'm going to give you a massive big hug to say thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Safety was my concern. How did I even get ripped from the crowd of people that were peaceful? So was I in the place of unsafety where they ripped me from the crowd? I don't think so. And I was holding the line. I wasn't forcing against them. I was.
You had laid down.
I was taken, and.
So why do you think you?
Huh?
Why do you think it was you? Just your age? Like out of all that crowd that you were linked to. You know what I mean? Because that seems like.
I think it was just meant to happen. Like.
You were chosen.
I heard a lot of people crying and a lady shouting at the men that they were in lot of anxiety from the police, and I have to think my way through things, and usually it's so hard because I get scared, and so I had to hold the line. And I did it calmly, peacefully, holding a freedom sign. I even had to put that down until they started hurting us.
Well, your calmness and your ability to work through things helped you then, didn't it?
Yeah.
What good lessons you've been teaching yourself.
Oh no, this is all my mum. This is all my mum. Oh, she says that's me mostly.
Bless her. Good mother.
I'm grateful to my mum for teaching me this stuff. But if you can't just sit down and research for yourself, you're going to fall unless we hold it up for you, which we are and have been.
And is this where you're staying? Are you staying here? Your beautiful tent?
Yeah, it took us quite a long while. I think it was 5 o'clock until we finished it.
Yeah, well, this is good.
I love it.
Good shelter.
We tried to.
But honestly, the stories, it's just been incredible. I just happened to walk in the grounds, and one of the ladies that were on the front line, she was injured by a police officer woman, rammed her by the elbow in the sternum. The art of pain. Now she knows of me from our very first meeting at our first march of this 2 years ago. And as soon as I walked in, she came running up to me and she said, Karen, help me, please help me. And then she clutched onto her heart and she dropped at my feet. And I panicked and I screamed for help. And we were led. We had paramedics that came in to assist. But it was really frightening because you had the people holding the line, and then they told us that her and I and this other beautiful Māori woman had to go on their side with all the police, and they checked her out under the staircase of the Parliament buildings, and then they said, we've called an ambulance and we'll assess her, which they did. But to get down to the side was very intimidating because it was in their arena. And sure enough, 2 police officers came and charged at us. And before that, my guide said, Karen, find an angel and an officer. So I scanned them and I looked in this beautiful Māori woman police officer's eyes, and I went straight in and I hugged her. And I said, you are one of us. Please, I need you to protect us from your rest of your crew. And she looked at me and we both, our eyes just met and we both cried. And while my friend was getting assessed.
Thank you for helping. And we understand.
I was asking her to do the right thing. And I said, we are standing here for your whānau. Well, you stand against us. And I begged her to do the right thing because this is wrong. And that everyone is all going to go down in the end. She stood there and she had tears rolling. She took us through to the ambulance. And yeah, it was terrifying when it was a gentleman and a woman officer came charging straight to hurt my friend. I stood in the way and they screamed at us that we were trespassing. And I looked at the officer and she said, stand down. I'm taking them for medical assistance in the ambulance. The eyes said it all. It was like they had no soul. The way they stared at us was horrific. We went and got her assessed, and then when it was time to come back through, the officer was taking us back so we could take my friend back to her car. And those 2 officers came charging at us again and screamed at my face and told me I was trespassing. I stood there and said I wasn't. And then that beautiful soul of a police officer tapped my shoulder and she said, come with me, Karen. I will escort you another way, because the other officer was screaming at me. And you know what I said? I said to this beautiful officer, I pointed to that man's eyes and I said, that is what pure evil is. Look into his eye. There's no one there. And I looked back at the officer and I said, you're beautiful. That's evil. And then I turned around and I grabbed my friend's arm, and that beautiful officer, she assisted us back as far as she could go. And then we had to take the extremely long way back around to her car. The pain that woman, my name is Lynette, what she endured was horrific. The pain, the pure pain. Hi Lynette.
Hi Karen, how are you?
Good. So what's your full name?
Lynette Gay-Kidner.
And can you tell us your whole experience of what you went through on the front line of that day?
Yeah, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. I had no thought that I would ever get hurt or arrested or anything like that. It wasn't my thoughts. But we were peacefully, first of all we started sitting down, which I don't know if that was a good idea, but we were holding on to each other. I had a young Māori man next to me. He was shaking, he was scared. I was holding on tight, and they tried dragging him off underneath the legs, and we held him tight, and people behind him were grabbing him, and they dragged his pants off, and they then retreated, and we got his pants back on, and we're there again, and then we decided to stand up because that wasn't feeling good. I had a knee from being pushed back with one of the policemen's knee right up on my whole body back. But they were right at us when we were sitting down, which is, it was very scary sitting down, and I'm not sure why we tried to be peaceful sitting down, and it didn't work. So we stood up, and then they would relax, and then the people would be talking to people, and they would relax, and then they'd have another go at us, and then they would relax again, and you'd have another bit of space between us, and then this time the male policeman was sitting in front of me for a while, and he was saying, "I'm not going to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you, but just walk back when I walk forward, And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that, but thank you for not hurting me.
Yeah.
But then as soon as there was two females beside each other, and they got in front of me, and I was trying to talk to them like a grandmother because they were about the same age. One was about the same age as me, and then there was a younger one, and I was trying to talk, calm them down and sort of say, well, you should be on our side, and this is for our children. And but then the younger one got in front of me, and the next surge, she just put her elbow up like this and just dug it in, and then she kind of had another go at me. So I've got 2 bruises on my sternum, chest, and I was just screaming. I couldn't breathe. She was just, because the people behind were pushing us, and they were pushing them. So I'm squished in the middle with this elbow in my chest, and I just screamed my head. You probably hear all the lights and the screaming. That's me. And it just hurt. I didn't know if I can't breathe. And you could feel it just crushing, and and then they retreated. They didn't take me, which was lucky. And I decided that was like, okay, no, I have to step off the front line because someone else can have a turn there. So I retreated there.
Did you have your arms linked at that time?
Yeah, we did. So I couldn't.
So you couldn't protect yourself. So you were vulnerable.
Yeah. So that was another thing we shouldn't have. I don't know.
Well, it's that line for that strength, but you're actually vulnerable at the same time.
Yeah, and I couldn't get her hand away. I tried to go low, like duck, so, but I ended up with 2 sort of bruises on my chest.
What was the pain like?
Oh, excruciating pain, and I couldn't breathe.
What was it like staring her in the eye when she was causing you that pain?
Yeah, I was saying, you just do no harm, You're like, what are you doing to me? She was just staring at me. She didn't care. Absolutely didn't care. It was pure evil.
Wow. Okay, so what happened when you retreated? You
I retreated,
off?
I came off, and I don't even know what the time was or how long I was there, but I was trying to get I was asking the men to come and stand, and I was too sore to even think about being on the 3rd rowing. I was like, I just recruit some people, and I was just asking people, and I don't even know how long after that, but actually when you arrived, I just saw you, and I kind of had a little cough, and I sit down a little bit earlier, and I put my hands down to lift myself up, and the pain was terrible when I was sitting there for a while. And then I got up and I moved on a few meters up the path, and that's when I saw you arrive, and I sort of did that kind of suck up breath, and it's like, oh, and I just realized I was down again, and I'm like, I need some help because I can't breathe, and that's when things went
full on. Because you dropped. You just looked and you said, Karen, help me. And then you collapsed. You grabbed my leg and said, help me. And and
then of course you called for a nurse or a doctor in the house, and next thing there was just paramedics, police, people, and I'm like, whoa, hang on. they were saying, oh yeah, she had a heart attack. I'm like, no, you did this. This is a police assault. So, yeah. So yeah, people were saying that I'd had a heart attack. And I'm like,
Yeah, and you've been put on the cover of was it Stuff?
Stuff put something on too, saying I'd had a heart attack, and it's a lie. So
No.
I will be retracting that.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a heart attack because we got you monitored, and they did an ECG to check that out, and there was nothing wrong with that side. And the paramedic did comment it was either rib or sternum or bruising or breaking or.
So they wanted to take me in the ambulance, and I was traumatized. I didn't want to go to ambulance. I didn't want to go to hospital. I didn't want to leave, and I didn't want to go there.
No.
So yeah,
You were in a lot of state of shock, and it's really interesting talking to you on what I saw to what you were going through. And when I shared my story to you, it was like, wow. And but the pain you endured was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's something that should never have occurred. And you were peaceful in that line, and you were begging them to
I
stop.
was asking the men, the police people that were in front of me, to take their jackets off, come and join with us. You know, you've lost 2,000 members of your staff, your colleagues and friends. You didn't stand up for them. We are standing up for them. Come and join us.
Exactly.
This is the whole time.
Yeah, it's a day I'll never forget.
No.
What I saw, and for you to be on the front line and go through that, and to come out injured, and yet you were innocently standing there. You were not a violent person.
No.
I can't even see a violent part of your body. And yeah, that was a blatant attack. And all you were doing the whole time was asking her to remove her elbow.
Yep.
And you could not breathe.
No, and I couldn't, because the arms are linked, I couldn't
You couldn't
push her off. I couldn't get out because people were pushing from behind.
Yeah, no, this is it's definitely going to be a massive inquiry on this. I saw yesterday there was 80 complaints, police complaints of brutality, and that was yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't even complained yet.
Oh, well, there you go.
I know that, friends have complained for me, but
Yes,
I haven't.
yes. No, that's amazing. So yes, it's going to be incredible. So thank you so much for your story, because it's good to speak to you as the victim. And yeah, you're an innocent woman, and it's holding that line. You've been doing it for 2 years. You've been strong with, just the knowing of what's going on.
Yeah.
And you're here to protect. And at the end of the day, it's stop the mandates. Too many people are suffering
Stop
now.
the whole lot.
Yeah.
They all need to go.
Is there anything else you want to say to? And okay, what do you want to say if I had that policewoman, that blonde-haired policewoman? She was young. What do you want to say to her if she was in this room right now? What do you want to say to her?
I would probably say, how would you feel if it was your mother? Because that's what the age difference, it's like doing it to someone's mother, like your own mother.
Exactly. Because you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Yeah. That young lady seriously needs to look into what she's done. The horror.
Well, that's obviously the police tactic, because it happened to a whole lot of us. Yeah. This is rude.
Another woman, Jeanette, same. It was the same tactic, and that's what we did get told.
I'm lucky I'm not didn't get arrested.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happened. Didn't happen.
You had an angel looking after you, above you, I think.
Yeah.
You were well looked after, and but yeah, something that we're not going to forget, your story and what you've gone through. So thank you so much for letting us hear firsthand what you've gone through. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Another beautiful soul of New Zealand, Jeanette. She too has a story to tell about them coming straight into her, and they did massive damage in here on her. She has a story to tell as well. It was incredible. It was horrific. And Jeanette herself is another beautiful soul, another beautiful woman standing in the front line for your children, for yourself.
Awesome. Sorry. Speaking's difficult for me today because a WPC yesterday put her elbow firstly on my windpipe and then my sternum. And what happened was immediately prior to this we were singing Waiata. We were there peaceful, we were sending love to the police. We linked arms because we could see them lining up. And I stood there saying, I have God with me. And I felt strong. And I knew she couldn't move me. And this WPC then put her elbow to my windpipe and she pressed. And I said, you are hurting me. And she moved it down to my sternum and she pressed. And she pressed even harder. I said, no, you are hurting me. I said it loud. I said it clear. She increased the pressure. I felt my sternum break. I went to the hospital, but not before my team on my side was supporting me. They got me. They got my body. 2 officers roughly manhandled me and took me out, causing more damage, more tearing here. They left me on my hands and knees for an hour on concrete. My arms couldn't restrain my body, I couldn't breathe properly before they rang for an ambulance. This is not right. This is not right. When the ambulance arrived, they said to me that they'd arrived within 25 minutes of the call. It took an hour and a half for me to get to the hospital. That's why I know they left me like that for an hour in agony. You wouldn't leave a dog like that. One WPC said, she's a drama queen. I've got a fractured sternum. A third of my sternum is fractured. The radiographer at the hospital said she's only seen 2 of these in 10 years. It takes a huge amount of force. We were peaceful. I have days of footage on my Facebook page. This is a peaceful gathering that is all about stopping the mandates. They used unreasonable force. They were unlawful. I've been assaulted. I've been to Wellington Police Station today to report this crime. They sent me away with a leaflet. You read the leaflet, it says you must go to a police station. I asked for support. I asked them to bring a PC with me today so I can point out my attacker. This young woman needs to be taken off duty today. On a scale of 1 to 10, my pain is a 10. It's like childbirth. The only thing the hospital can do for me is pain relief. And others here are supporting me with arnica and rescue remedy. And I'm really, really grateful for all the prayers. Send prayers, guys. We want to keep this peaceful. I'm not on here to wind you all up. We need peace. We need peace. So we've spoken to a sergeant here to report this, to ask for help identifying my attacker, and that was also being declined. I have that on video. So they're compounding this now. Thank you, Carlene, for all you Facebook warriors, all that you're doing, because the mainstream media are liars. They are saying that we are the aggressors, we are the peaceful ones. The police have been the aggressors. I was linking arms with 2 other people. I was completely unable to defend myself, and an elbow was placed on my windpipe and then on my sternum, breaking my sternum. A third of my sternum now is fractured. If it had been an older, more frail people on that front line, we could have had our first bloodshed here. The more these guys are going to back off, there is power in numbers. But please, come with peace, come with love in your hearts. Let's do this. We're all brothers and sisters.
We have got some really strong wahinis that have passion. And I thank you all. and the beautiful men that have stood with them, as well as you all hold the line.
They're telling us we're trespassing. We've been shown no trespass notice. We're not going to get convicted of anything. So let's not make it disorderly behaviour. We're not disorderly, okay? No disorderly behaviour. We don't want that charge. We're going to go peacefully. The only thing they can get us for is breaching the peacemaking. Okay?
Like the strong ones, do you?
Go for the weak ones.
Look at that, naked on the ground. Keep the line.
And the reason why that was happening is Trevor Mallard, the Speaker in Government, House and Parliament, sorry. Overnight, he changed the law and took the land of the people on Parliament there where we stood. He took it off us. So he trespassed all the protesters. And that is when the police came and individually plucked individuals out. So one would point and said that one. Then 5 would come in and collect them and literally rip them out. It was pure force. It was horrific. It was horrific to see and to rewatch live on the videos that have gone worldwide. Do you know the beautiful thing is these beautiful souls, everything was peaceful. So I send you so much love for every single individual. We thank you from our bottom of our heart for standing so strong. And also from this It is going around, and I can't confirm it, so don't quote me, but it's gone around. There were 200 in New Zealand police officers that resigned the next day. The horrific treatment that their peers did to another human being, that you wouldn't even treat a dog that way, was horrific. So I thank you. I thank you for standing down. Here we have, and your name is?
My name's Brenda.
Brenda.
Oh, you're Karen.
Yes, I'm Karen.
I watch you all the time.
Oh, look at you! Because it just is, I want to put you on my video, because these are our violent protesters outside Parliament. And what are you doing, ladies? You're knitting. Oh my goodness, I love you already. We got told about you to come over to the ladies that are knitting, and look at you. How? Where are you from?
I'm from Waipukurau.
Waipukurau?
And thank you for doing all those YouTubes, because they just get me going in the hardest times.
She's
You're wonderful.
and she's got finding it a little bit hard to do the videos at the moment.
This is Trevor the Duck. Quack, quack. My name's Trevor Mallard. Can you all please go home? Because Auntie Cindy and I are a little bit scared. Oh, you know what? I'll turn the sprinklers on, and then I'll be known as Sprinkler Man.
So how long have you ladies been? So you've been here since the start?
No, we didn't get here till today.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're dry and warm in there?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
What an amazing experience for you both as well, being here.
We've got to be here for our kids.
That's it. That's what it's about.
They can't have a life.
They just don't know.
Yeah.
They just don't know.
And our little babies are next.
Yeah.
Little 1-year-olds.
Yeah.
They're going to be stabbed and jabbed, and that's upsetting.
100%. 100%. Oh, you guys are just gorgeous.
So are you.
Thank you.
We're out the rain, just sharing the love. And here we got two beautiful ladies sharing the love with us. And what time are we? Where it's 10:30? 10:30 at night, and it's humming out here.
Violently knitting.
Violently knitting, and they are our violent protesters that they need to be arrested. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, it's powerful. So let's do this. We have got this. I love you. If you like this and you know someone that needs to hear this message today, send it off to give them the encouragement to keep going, because we are making a difference out there in every country that you are all in. Let's keep going. Do not weaken. Hand the baton over to somebody else, recharge, and then come back in. God is on our side, and the light will always win. I love you. Thank you for listening to this. Like and share this out.